Ange, if I could just start with the availability question, any of the names who a week ago were a week or so away, are any of them available for tomorrow night? And I think also for Spurs fans, the name they're stressing over is Micky Van De Ven.
All right, I'll try and sort of summarise the whole thing. In terms of availability from last week, everyone's fine. Everyone got through okay, so no issues there. In terms of that squad, obviously Kevin and Mathys are both available. They've trained and cleared to play, so they're all good. The rest of them, no one available for tomorrow. With Micky and Romero to a certain extent, where I kind of feel like we've just got to be a bit more conservative with him. Micky got through the game all right, but I don't think he feels he's ready for that sort of step up to Premier League, the intensity of it. Same with Romero, and look, after losing, we know we've lost Radu now, which is really disappointing for him and for us for the rest of the season. I guess my view, and I kind of made the decision, I'm not going to risk these guys, so we're going to keep them ticking over at training and try and make sure they're absolutely ready without any more setbacks. And the other guys are inching closer as well, but similar sort of mindset with them.
Yeah. Given that Micky won't be playing tomorrow night, then, given the amount of minutes that Archie and Ben have played as well, will Kevin Danso be thrown straight in tomorrow night? Is he ready?
Look, he'll play, yeah. I mean, whether he starts or not, we'll have a look because we've got another game 3 days later. I mean, that's been our existence for quite a while now. And you're right, Benny and Archie, and I think Pedro's played every minute of football we've had for the last 3 months. So, but the boys are handling it okay. Performances are still stacking up. So it's great to get Kevin in. He's ready to play. Whether he starts or he'll come on, we'll make a decision. But obviously really important that he's part of it now, because obviously losing Radu was a massive blow for us. So having him available is good.
First chance we've had to speak to you since Mathys Tel's signing. Initially, the suggestion was he didn't want to join Spurs. Then it took a phone call from you to persuade him. So just talk to us about your powers of persuasion.
Yeah, I think that's a simplistic way to look at it. I mean, I think people need to sort of understand. You're talking about, a 19-year-old player who's got to make a major decision about his career. And it's not so much that he rejected us or rejected anyone else. I think, rightly so, he was getting as much information as possible. And I think more than anything, he just wanted to be comfortable with the decision. I think he didn't feel, the sense I get was he didn't want to be sort of pushed into a certain direction. And I think it's credit to him that he didn't, he took his time. He wanted to talk to all the right people. I had a conversation with him, and I guess mine was purely around the football, that I think, I think he'll find a really great place for him here in terms of where he is in his career. He obviously wants to play. We've already shown that, irrespective of age, you'll get an opportunity here. And I think the way we play would suit him, and certainly with what we have, in the next few months, and then more importantly, what we're building beyond, I thought he would be a perfect fit for his next step. But at the same time, I think it's right that he took as long as he did, and he was totally comfortable with it.
You have said in the past on a number of occasions you only want players here who really want to be at Tottenham Hotspur. So are you 100% convinced that he is sold on this?
100%, yeah, more than 100%. Because, like I said, because he took so much time and was so diligent about finding out everything, when he made the decision that it's us, and he obviously had options, that sort of gave me even more sort of confidence that we're getting the right kind of mentality, the right kind of play. He's very ambitious. He really, he's got a great deal of self-belief and self-confidence. He feels like he can, reach the very top of the game, and he's chosen us, which is, I think, a great vindication for what we're doing.
Just one final one from me. You'll be fully aware, of course, of just how heavy it weighs on the shoulders of Spurs fans, how long the trophy drought has been, and those fans who go to Anfield tomorrow night. Those fans who are at Anfield tomorrow night will be understandably on edge, nervous, and that can translate to the players. I suppose the question is, how do you get the players to play the game rather than the occasion tomorrow night?
You got to do both. I mean, it's a big occasion for everyone. It's a big occasion for the players, a big occasion for the club. It's a semi-final. I think irrespective, I don't think Liverpool would be any less anxious than us about the fixture. When you're in a semi-final, particularly a second leg, and it's still very tight, it's a big game for both clubs. So you recognise that, you embrace that, but ultimately, if you want to be successful, these are the games you want to be involved in. So there's no point sort of having any trepidation about it, because the alternative is you'll be watching two other teams play on the TV and you're sitting at home on the couch and wishing you were there. So we're going to be there. We've got a chance, and we'll go for it.
Hi, Ange. I think you'd be very happy with the transfer window you just had, but last time I saw you sort of mentioned that maybe you would have liked to have another defender. Do you feel maybe a little bit short in that area, and that's probably maybe the one thing?
Yeah, well, no, I don't think so. To a certain extent, I think, obviously, like I said, losing Rado was a massive blow, because he's been really good for us through a difficult time. He's played every game. He's still only 22 as a centre-back, and I thought and us getting Kevin in would have been a great solution for us, because with him and sort of Radu and Ben, and with the other guys coming back, but obviously losing Radu, kind of, then puts you in a position, well, do we sign somebody else? Knowing that we still have got, some significant ins to come over the next few weeks, including Destiny, Romero, Micky, all these guys. Again, it had to be the right fit, and I didn't think there was a right fit out there for us, to be honest. So I think bringing in 3 players in January is probably the maximum you need to do. And I think if it wasn't for our sort of injury situation, it may have been one less than that. But I think to do 3, and I think all 3 I'm really happy with in terms of the kind of players they are, the kind of people they are, the fit they have with our football. I think it's been a positive window.
And in the last few weeks, there's been a lot of talk about maybe, you trying to bring everything together, bring the fans, the club, everyone together as sort of, a unifying force. Do you feel like this transfer window maybe shows that, inside this building that everyone's unified and they're behind you and giving you what you need really to get through this difficult period?
Oh, no, I think I've said that before. I haven't felt that it hasn't been. I felt, like I said, I feel all along that everyone within the football club is certainly very supportive of what we're doing and what we're trying to achieve and sort of direction we're on. So that hasn't changed. Look, it wasn't an easy window for us, but I think it was an easy window for anyone. I don't think any club well, maybe a couple have come out thinking, okay, we've got everything we wanted done, but there'd be a lot of clubs who, because it was tricky, I mentioned at the start of it, Europe's complicated it with the new European format. There's all sorts of challenges. A lot of us were looking for similar types of players, in the market for attacking players or centre backs. So it was a tricky market. Ideally, we would want to bring somebody in earlier, but we got what we needed to get done, and now that gives us sort of a platform to push on.
I know Tony was a long-term target, but can you sort of reassure us that these signings, the 2 that you brought in, are not just for now because you're sort of reactive, but they're actually sort of players you'd want longer term and that can, be perfect?
I don't think we'd be signing 21-year-olds and 19-year-olds reactively. I mean, just by their nature, you'd suggest, well, if it was reactively, I'd be signing 35-year-olds. So I think the nature of the players we've signed shows that they're not just about now, they're about us continually to build. I certainly see Tony, Mathys and Kevin as very much part of our short-term, medium and long-term sort of strategy here for sure. They're all really good fits for what we're doing.
Hi, Ange, how are you?
I'm good, mate.
You mentioned there about ideally you'd like to have brought the players in earlier. Is there a frustration with you that you went the whole month and struggled through the whole month needing players, and you got them in right at the end when maybe these could have been done a little bit earlier like Kinski was?
But they couldn't be. That's the thing. Like, you can sit here and, that wouldn't be me saying that, the club actually didn't really care about a situation and just sort of twiddled their thumbs till the 29th and then went for it. I mean, I know how hard people were working. I don't think people actively working against me to get what I want done. So, no, I wasn't frustrated. As I said, ideally we all wanted things to happen earlier, but like a lot of clubs, it was a tricky window. It was a difficult window. January is generally, but this one even more so. All you can ask of people, whether they're players, staff, or people I work alongside or with, is that they're doing everything in their power to achieve an outcome. And if they're doing that, well, there's no point getting frustrated. You just got to have faith and trust that we'll get the thing done.
Last season, when you went out the League Cup early to Fulham and then the FA Cup early as well, you were I'm not going to say bemoaning, but you wished you had more fixtures. Now you've played in every single game you could possibly have played in this season, bar the qualifying round coming up in the Europa League. Are you playing too many fixtures?
I wasn't. Jesus, it's amazing. I sit here and I talk, and I sometimes wonder whether my words, when they leave my mouth and hit somebody else's ears, whether actually there's a correlation there. Because obviously, I didn't bemoan anything. I didn't. We wanted more games last year because we weren't in Europe. I mean, there's a big piece missing in your question there. It wasn't just the Cups. We've had already 8 European games that we didn't have last year. So, by its nature, of course, we've done well in the Cups, which is great, fantastic for us, but it has added to our fixture schedule. And like other clubs in our situation, which there aren't many, there's only a couple, if you've got injuries, that hampers you. So didn't bemoan last year, and I'm not saying too much this year. It's our situation, obviously, with our injury situation. It's made it a hell of a lot more challenging, but it is what it is. What it does mean is that we're still in 4 competitions at the moment, and I can only see that as a positive for us.
And finally, I do try and listen as carefully as I can. So with a slight fear of trepidation with this question, going to Anfield with a 1-goal lead in a semi-final, it's halfway through, with a massive prize at the end of a final, do you slightly tweak your philosophy and maybe be a little bit more cautious? I know before you've told me you don't...
Well, it depends. Again, it's whether you want to sort of pay attention. I mean, it depends what you think my philosophy is. I mean, my philosophy is to try and win games of football. So we're going to go try and win a game of football tomorrow night, which will get us to a final of a cup, which will be a great opportunity for us. But if people haven't understood sort of my philosophy after 26 years of management, then I don't think anything I say now is going to change any of that.
Hi, Ange. Just want to check on Micky. Is it a fitness thing at this point, or is there any discomfort there still?
It's a bit of everything. He doesn't feel like he got through the game no problem, but we had a look at the sort of figures towards the physical, and it really wasn't more like he does a lot more training, and he got through it okay. But Premier League's a whole different beast, and I just, after losing Radu, I kind of sat down and thought about what we've got ahead of us still. Look, don't get me wrong, we've got a couple of massive games this week for sure. But we've also afforded ourselves a couple of weeks, hopefully, without midweek fixtures. And beyond that, Europe kicks in, which is massive for us. Hopefully we're in a final of a Carabao Cup. Hopefully we're still in the FA Cup. I just don't see the sense right now in risking that. Having Kevin in is a massive bonus for us. So no, he's not, and he hasn't re-injured the injury or anything like that. It's just that I just feel we need to get more into him. I think he feels he needs to get more into him. Same with Romero. So it'll just be a wait and see approach.
And with Mathys Tel, there's some kind of talk back in Germany that maybe he wants to be more of a central striker going forward. Where do you envisage playing him the most in your system?
Oh, mate, Archie wanted to be a central midfielder, so who knows where Mathys will end up. Look, he's got the attributes to play, I think, as a 9 for sure, but he's played wide really successfully as well. That's the beauty of him coming into us. At the moment, we're going to need him probably in all those areas because it's fair to say, as much as we've got issues at the back, probably got bigger issues in the front third at the moment. We're missing 3 wingers at our striker. I get people are still dismissing the fact that tomorrow night we're still going to have 9, maybe 10 first-team players out of our starting lineup. So having Mathys who can play, both wide and central, Richie's doing a great for us at the moment. But again, he's coming off not playing for a while, and we've got to be really careful with him. Sonny's playing all the time. We've got Mikey as a 17-year-old. We've got Decky who can play in there. So having him who can play either side, I reckon in the short term, till we get some numbers back, I think he'll fill all 3 roles.
I just want to ask you quickly about Europa League squad, your decisions coming up for that. Obviously, too many players to fit in. You can make 3 changes. Have you decided yet?
I'm waiting for your article first, mate. And once you've analysed it and assessed it, then I'll have a deep dive and try and come out with an outcome that sort of satisfies everyone. What we do know is we can make 3 changes. Obviously, Radu's going to be a logical one there, and the rest, I think we've got a bit of time, and a lot of it will depend sort of between now and then on kind of who we can sort of get back, and hopefully we keep everyone healthy, and then we'll make our decisions. Yeah.
Finish with George, please, at the back.
Cheers. Hi, Ange. I appreciate this is probably more a question for Johan or maybe Daniel, but in terms of Kevin Danso, he obviously wasn't involved in European competition, and it feels like if you could have brought him in earlier, it would have made a difference, maybe against Everton or Leicester. Was there a reason why he couldn't come in until a few days before?
It's a process you need to go through. There are certain other things at play for us and for Kevin, to be honest. And as much as you try and sort of understand the pressing need, with all these things, there has to be agreement on 3 parties. We're not just the only ones involved. So for those 3 to get aligned and to happen really quickly, it's rare. I mean, I think we got sort of lucky with Tony because it was their off season and kind of we could work really quickly there. But most of the other deals sort of got done in the last week. Look, it would have been great to get in Kevin earlier, but I'm really pleased to get him in. He's a great guy already. He's kind of endeared himself to the group in terms of the kind of person he is. And, we still managed to sort of get a couple of key results the last couple of days, last couple of games, which really helps our season. So now with him in there, that gives us a boost.
And this is obviously a big match, probably your biggest match as Spurs manager. And you've had plenty of big matches over your career. Do you kind of change anything when it comes to a game of this magnitude, or is everything kind of kept the same as normal as possible?
No, I think, like I said before, I think you need to embrace the sort of the challenge in front of you. You can't just. It's very easy to say it's just going to be another game, but it's not, because everyone knows the consequences of it, both us and the opposition. You're playing away from home, and you kind of know that certainly their crowd will give them a great deal of energy, which we have to deal with. So they're all kind of, and it's a cup game, so it's a possibility of extra time, there's a possibility of penalties, all those things are factored into it. So your preparations and your information's a little bit different, and you want to make it into a big game because ultimately you need to be able to understand behaviour in big games and what it means and how you can sort of overcome the challenges of it. So it changes a little bit. The fundamentals of how we play won't change, but I think in terms of how we go about it will be a bit different.
And just finally for me, is the Man City away game a little bit of a blueprint? Because Man City started like a train, you had to kind of survive that period, then you got the goal and you could kind of really build into the game. I mean, in an ideal world, obviously that would happen tomorrow, 4-0 win.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, I think the first game we played against Liverpool here was, because it was a tight game, and I think if you can always, limit sort of the ability of Liverpool to create a lot of chances, and we did on night, and we probably created the better chances. I thought, that's more of, and maybe it's slightly different away from home, but I felt that night we really controlled in our football. We pressed really well. I said we really denied them any sort of clear-cut opportunities, which is really difficult against them, and we're always a threat the other way. I think we obviously scored, but we had one with millimetres offside with Dom, and we missed a big chance with Pedro. So, I think that's more sort of the blueprint we want to take into it, because Liverpool are obviously a different team to Man City. I mean, they're different to probably most other teams in the way particularly in the way they attack, and we're going to have to be on our game in certain aspects, but also understand that we have the capabilities of hurting them as well.
Okay, we'll end the broadcast section there.